Entonces ya cuando como sexualidad hay vaya trabajo no para
Is that the usual or we set?
tomar why
Good morning. It's Monica. I'm on a couple minutes early. Does anyone have a quick question for me?
I just thought
Hi, Monica.
Hello.
Good morning. This is Christina calling from the Auto Group in Long Beach, California.
Great.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Good. I have a question regarding the operations manual.
Okay.
Every week we're reviewing like the suggested tabs at the end of each call. But I'm curious, are we just supposed to be kind of filling that up as we go with the suggestions, or are we going to actually be discussing the content as well?
Well, okay. So go back to all of the stuff we got in the either first section, second, or third. We're discussing the content now, but I can't individually discuss your business versus someone's business in Maryland. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I say that you need to have a tab that says job description, then, okay, Stephanie, get a couple of these people that are out of control. Then you need to have something, then you're going to put all of my information on job description in there, and then as you revamp it and change it into yours, then you replace that.
Right.
So, okay, so good. All right, yeah, so I wish I could individually look at everybody's, but I can't, so you have to take some initiative. So, hey, you got any noise in the background, *6 to mute yourself, or you're not going to be on the call to get to participate. So pay attention.
I look forward to
Great. I don't know what's going. Great. Okay. So all right. Hit *6 everybody to mute and *6 to unmute. That's the easiest thing to do. And then Stephanie, Tony, and Giovanna should be with you. Stephanie.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it.
In
All right.
here, Giovanna's on her way.
Okay. Great. Okay. Good. Excellent. All right. Any other quick questions? Yes. Question, please. All right, so you guys know again, *6 to mute, *6 to unmute. The policy and procedures manual, I'm giving you tab suggestions and all of the materials. For some of you, sometimes just putting in that this is call number 6, put it in that tab, or you could put a tab that says schedule, and then, for example, on this, these are all the ideas on scheduling and time management. Then what you can do is you can have a different one that says assistant-specific schedule. So a listing coordinator schedule is different than a closing coordinator if your team is broken up. So everyone should have a schedule, and the top priorities, of course, being done first. All right, almost there, Stephanie. We're almost there, and I'm top of the hour. So, Stephanie, let's rock it out.
Okay, everyone, good morning. This is Stephanie. I'm your Fast Track Coordinator today, and I'm going to make a few announcements before we get started, and I hand you back over to Coach Monica. We do ask that you help keep the noise levels to a minimum. Please, if you're not interacting on the call, make sure your line is muted. No matter how quiet you try to be, we can hear you. So you can use the mute button on your phone if you have one, or you can hit *6 to mute and *6 to unmute when you want to ask a question or you have some comments. If you're on a cell phone or you have us on speaker, please keep yourself muted, as it does make an extremely loud echo for us. Please don't put us on hold, otherwise we'll be listening to your hold music. Also, a heads up. We can see everyone's line that is dialed into this call and how much feedback is coming from that specific line. If you forget to mute yourself and are creating too much feedback, I will mute you. I prefer not to, as once you're muted from my side, you're muted for the rest of the call without an option to interact or ask any questions. Okay, Monica, back to you.
Thanks, Stephanie, world's greatest assistant. All right, everyone. So this call is about your job and the scheduling, and we're going to talk about putting the perfect schedule together, and then also the 52 tips for managing your time, and the daily meeting form to help with communication. All right, so here's a couple of things that I really want you to hear today. One is that we're going to build a schedule. If you can stick to your schedule 50% of the day, you're a winner. Because things happen in real estate that come at all different directions, and you'll walk in there in the morning, think you have X, Y, Z to do, and it ends up you have to do A, B, C instead. So I get that. I've been doing this for over 33 years, so I understand that. However, there are some things that can't be flexible, and we're going to cover those things today. All right, so thank you for being quiet on the call, because they are recorded for people who couldn't get on the call today, or if you like to go back and listen to them. So a couple of housekeeping items. If you want to go back and listen to the calls, yes, you can. Go to Basecamp and go listen to them. They're uploaded usually right after the call. Second thing is that at the end of the course, you have 6 months to go back and listen to everything. So if you want to download it, keep it, you get to do all of those things. Just know that in 6 months it changes. Now, I've had a lot of requests, and I am so sorry. Some of you are very disappointed in me. You are asking for things that are coming up in a future course. So this is a 6-month course. I can't give you what we're going to talk about 5 months from now and give it to you now, because there's a method to my madness. So when you get an email from me that says, stay tuned, coming up, please understand, I can't, honor all these requests for different pieces and then try to explain how you use it. That's what these calls are for. So I apologize for any inconvenience. Please understand there's a system and a method, and thank you so much. All right. So with that said, let's talk about a couple of things. Let's get ready. So do you have a schedule? Is it posted? Have you modified your schedule recently? So some of you are going to answer no to that question, and I totally understand that, and I get that. However, we're going to talk about the importance of that and how to develop it. So turn the page. Because with what I want you to do is to be perfectly clear. You have to build a schedule. Because when you have a schedule, you get more things done. You remember to do the things that are important, and some of the things that we do are done on a weekly basis. Some are done on a daily basis. So calling sellers on a listing, you're going to probably do that on a weekly basis. Calling on an escrow the first 5 days when a brand new escrow comes into place, you're going to do that on a daily basis. So we're going to get those all put into a schedule. So when you turn to page 4 and it says develop your perfect schedule, write down number 1, get a notebook, all right, or get a yellow pad, all right, get a notebook, a yellow pad. Number 2, make a list of everything you do. Make a list of everything you do. Now, last week we went over the job description. So go back and look at those job descriptions and check off the things that you do that need to be in your schedule. Number 3, put it in an order of importance. Put it in an order of importance. And so let me side note you here, okay? Sidebar, as they say. All right, sidebar. The most important things that have to be done in the morning are returning any voicemails from clients that came overnight to you or emails. So a client who called has a voicemail or email, you jump on that immediately. Can someone jump in and tell me why?
Because that's your income.
Right. It's the income, it's moving the business forward, and it's excellent customer service. It shows and demonstrates to the client that they are important and that you're jumping on it, which causes you to get a paycheck, causes the agent to get paid, causes repeat and referral business. So our bottom line is that anytime a client needs something, take care of it. Acknowledge it. So if you can't deal with it right away, then call them and say, hi, John, I got your voicemail. I know what you're looking for. I can get that to you before 4 o'clock today. Would that be okay? Great. You don't need to explain to them why. Just say you'll have it by 4. I'll get you that information by 4. I'll get it by 1 o'clock. And then exceed their expectations and do it earlier. John, it was so important for me to jump on this. I know I said I'd do it by 4. It's 12 o'clock, and here's your information. Always take care of the clients first. That's your repeat and referral business. That's your client. That's the guy you're closing on. All right. Number 2 most important thing is processing a brand new escrow pending, if that's what you do in your job description. Immediately when that hits your desk, within 1 hour, call those clients, say congratulations. You know, I see you bought this home, or great home you just purchased. You know, I look forward to helping you. My name is Tony, etc., whatever. And then you say, I will be able to call you back around 3 o'clock and get more of the steps started. May I call you then? So if you're busy, then you say set up a time to call them. If the file comes in at 4:45 and you're still sitting at your desk, call them, acknowledge them, and then say to them, by the way, may I call you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? Would that be a good time for us to talk? You guys, the key thing on all of this is using common sense. A brand new listing comes in. That is a top priority. Processing, acknowledging that, calling them and saying, I'm getting the thing started. Let me go through a few things for it with you. Is this a good time to talk? You're going to get a detailed list from me on how to communicate with the clients and what to say each time. So hang in there. All right. Number 4, you know, when you have your list that you've made on your yellow pad in your notebook and you've listed everything, write the day and the times in the margin. So some of the things like processing a brand new listing and calling that client, that would be in the morning. You know, new escrows, morning. You know, afternoon projects, database stuff, that's all afternoon. Number 5, don't over-plan in your schedule so that you never complete your schedule ever. And number 6, schedule lunch. In my office, if you don't go for lunch, then I'm going to fire you because you need to take a break. We are so busy and so active with what we do, we need to have that break. Any time management courses that I've taken always say you need a break. You cannot be as effective in the afternoon if you don't take a break and refresh your batteries. Now, some of you are the 8-9 hour wonders. Good for you, and you don't take a break. I highly, highly discourage that. And if I ever meet you in person and you tell me you don't take a lunch break, I highly discourage that and tell you you're nuts. You will burn up on the job by 3 o'clock, 2:30 in the afternoon. You're not as effective as if you would take a break. I'm very clear about that. And most of you don't get paid to not take a lunch. So don't do it. And if you want to eat, you know, in your office, don't eat at your desk. Go somewhere else so you can take a break. All right, number 7, give yourself a break. So occasionally in the afternoon, you might need a 10-minute break. Go outside if the weather's nice, walk around the building, you know, go to your car, make a couple of personal calls, go take care of some banking with your iPhone or things like that. I mean, do something that gets you out of dealing with a listing, a buyer, a crazy person, whoever. And the bottom line is that, you know, you should give yourself a break occasionally. You say, hey, I'm going to take a 10-minute break. That's the best thing to do. All right, number 8, plan for interruptions. So it's okay when you get off track in your schedule in the afternoon. The mornings, I really want you to hear what I'm saying and keep that tight. That's customer service, people who need something of their customers. That's processing listings and escrows. That absolutely has to be tight. And then number 9, oh, this is a good one, be balanced. So, and some of you will laugh, now how do I be balanced? You have no idea what our business is doing. Oh, I got it. I've been doing this a long time. I know how crazy it can be out there. But in your schedule, balancing certain things in certain days. So don't load yourself up on Monday to do all these extraordinary things. You're not Superwoman, Superman. So make sure your schedule is balanced. And, you know, make sure, you know, on number 10 that, you know, you're really looking at your schedule and that you like your schedule. You like your schedule. If you don't like your schedule, it's just going to be one problem after another. And so make sure your schedule and you go, okay, that's a good schedule. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I didn't overplan. I didn't overcommit. That makes sense. And based off your job description, then you have a schedule. That schedule should be posted. All right, so turn the page to page 4 now. So why should you have a schedule again, and how? It's the fundamental basis of time management. When you have a schedule, the opportunities to create more opportunities to have better customer service, to move the business forward more efficiently, you'd be surprised. So go back to the times when you were in school. Say you're in high school. The bell rings. You go from English class, now you're going to history. The bell rings again. You go from history class to math. You've switched gears. So especially in the afternoon, you need to be switching gears and say, okay, time's up, I've done that. Okay, finish that off again tomorrow and finish that off. And I know some of you like to complete the whole project, but in reality, most of the times you can't complete a whole project, but you need to move on to the other things, so things are moving forward. All right. And of course, the schedule's a roadmap to complete a task, information on what you're going to do, keeps you on track, helps you get back on track. And then, just going down to number 11, circle that one. You have to be realistic. And number 12, be flexible. Things will come up that take you in a different direction. And then number 14 is probably the most important point. If it's not in your schedule, it won't get done. And you schedule all the top priorities for the morning. Now, this piece of paper right here, you might want to take this and put it in your tab that'll say office meetings, because this one is also appropriate for an office meeting with buyer agents and your listing agent. All right? Turn the page to page 5, and I'll break here in a second for questions. So here's a sample. And some of you do this and some of you don't. Let's say, hypothetically, you get in at 8 o'clock and you get all the expires ready and give to the agent. At 8:30, you listen, you take off voicemail and follow up on priorities. A priority is an agent it's a client who needs something and an agent who needs something back. Take care of those and get them out of the way. Pull up any old email, pull up any emails, current emails, things that came in last night, and take care of those. And then what I'm suggesting is that from 9 to 11 is that your escrow follow-up, your top priorities, you process the listing. So with that said, let me give you a little tip. Put a star in this box. And the star in this box says, touch every file every day. Now, I know some of you are going, oh my gosh, I have 47 listings. Well, good for you. So you can't do that every day. Can you break it up into 2 days? Possibly, or would 3 days be better? Let's say you have 45. So on the first day, you take 15 out of the first drawer, 15 out of the second, the third drawer, and then you repeat every third day. If you touch a file at least every 2 days, you will not ever get in any trouble and forget something and it goes through the cracks if you're looking at a great checklist and you're looking at it. So again, I say you touch every file. If you have 20 listings, you pull every single listing out of that drawer, put it on the left-hand side of your desk, and you open up every file. Now, some files will take you 30 seconds. You go, okay, they're good. Some files you go, oh, got to call them today. Oh, got to call them today. And sometimes it's the day you call the files that they all stay out until you've done it. If the file's out of the drawer, you've got something to do with it. And so you take one at a time. So again, if you touch the file every day, you absolutely can keep yourself out of jail and a problem. My personal opinion is that you should meet with your agent 11 o'clock every day and say, these are the 4 things that I'm working on. This is what happened yesterday. These are the questions I have for you. And having that face-to-face where your agent is not multitasking and she's looking at you, and you're having a 10, 15-minute conversation. It doesn't take a 30-minute meeting. However, especially one agent, one assistant, you absolutely have to be in communication. All right, 11:15, return calls, finish top priorities. Now, let me back up. If your agent isn't meeting with you, why aren't you saying something? why don't you say to them, I'd like to have a meeting. I'm learning this in the class. I think it would be important. They're not going to deny you that, especially when you say, I can be more efficient and really help the business. All right, now 11:15, return calls, finish top priorities. 12, I said you should go to lunch. You must go to lunch. If you don't go to lunch, you're being a martyr. You're being a victim. You need to go to lunch. If you don't know what to do, go sit in your car and take a nap and set your phone to ring. Go read a magazine. Go read a book. More importantly, go do errands that you don't have to do on Saturday and kill your Saturday off. It's a lot easier to do errands during the week than it is on a Saturday with all the traffic. Go have lunch with a friend, real quick bite somewhere, and say, hey, let's go grab a bite together so we can catch up. Go take a break. Again, you don't get any gold stars for staying and eating through lunch. Now, if you've done this and your agent sees that you're doing it and they expect that you're doing it, then you need to announce tomorrow, oh, I'm going to take my lunch. And Monica recommends that I really do that and take a break because my customer service, my efficiency will increase. That's a fact. All right, 1 o'clock, voicemail, return calls, project times. Now, some of you in my office, we don't do this because I have enough assistants. My pet peeve is grab that phone and answer it. If you're working on a project, you have a couple of closings that are very tedious, then it's my recommendation occasionally for you to turn the phones off for an hour between 1 and 2. Now, all your voicemails are cleared out, all your emails are kept up, and it goes into voicemail for 1 hour only. And that way, a lot of assistants have said to me, if I have 1 hour, just 1 hour, where no one interrupted me, I could get so much done. All right, do that. And here's the bottom line on that. Use common sense. All right? And then, of course, the next thing, taking a look at is, project time, like I said, the phones occasionally. Return calls, handle agent requests, 2:30, 3 o'clock, work on projects, mailings, office policy and procedures manual. You can work on the database. I mean, I'm just giving you a few things, but I know you can fill up your afternoon or you go back and take care of listings, escrows, etc. And at 4 o'clock, day recap conversation with agent. I'd love it if you would have a 15-minute conversation with the agent saying, this is what I got done today. This is what I have a question on. What do you need me to focus on tomorrow? What do you need? It's such a great way to keep the communication focused and going in the right direction. And then, final emails, phones off, last 15 minutes so you can clean up your desk and fill out your daily meeting form, which is coming up, so hang on. All right. So let me take a breath here and just ask any questions about, this is a suggestion. It gives you an idea, and of course you're going to put in the things that you need to put in there. And sometimes the schedule will say, for example, let's say 1 o'clock on a Tuesday or something, is that, you call all the listings. 5 o'clock, or 2 o'clock on a Thursday, you call all the escrows and touch base. And I'm going to give you some formats for that coming up. So, question here real quick before we move on.
I have a question.
Thank you.
I'm Mona from Glendora.
Hey, Mona from Glendora, California. Okay, great. How do I help you today?
Okay, I have a schedule set up. Pretty much all my priority items are at the top, and then I have my coaching call in it, and lunch, and all my other items.
Good. I like it so far.
One of the things that I do for my agent is finances.
Okay.
I can't seem to get that in anywhere throughout the day.
Okay, so here's what I suggest. All right. I always tell agents that they have a Friday visit my money. Okay? So what I'm suggesting to you is that you're going to, because that's a very important part that's been delegated to you, that it is important that I say this to you. Common sense. If it's the last day of the month and it's a Friday and you've got closings, it's not going to work. And then you're going to move it to a Thursday. So either Thursday morning or Friday morning at 10:30 to 11:30, you work on finances. Or 11 to 12 on Friday, you work on finances. Or 1 to 2, but don't let it ever get past 2 o'clock because it'll never get done. So slide it into a Thursday or Friday. Okay? Now, organize those finances. Have a drawer that's completely dedicated to finances, like the bills go in there, things you need to tend to, so that everything is easily accessible and you've got that drawer. Now, here's a thought on finances. Let's say it's Wednesday afternoon and you've got a lot of stuff done and you're kind of caught up on things, which we're never caught up, and you go, oh, you know what, I'm going to go tackle a couple of things. It's okay to start working on that finance drawer, but you have to have one place where all that stuff goes to regarding finances. Does that make sense too? Good. Do you have that right now?
I do.
Good. That is a huge, huge thing to do then. All right. But does it make sense to schedule it toward the end of the week and do it in the morning?
Yes.
Great. All right. Good. All right. Great question. Okay. And obviously, turning the page, here is a, sample. And then obviously I put in there meet with agent. And, when you have that line of communication, let's say your agent is out on listing appointments. Then you guys set up a plan that if they have a listing appointment at 4 or 4:30, that they talk to you before then and just say, hey, touch and base, they're driving. It's okay if they're driving to the appointment and then you're talking to them and saying, okay, this is what I got done today, this is who called in, this got handled, and this is what I'm doing tomorrow. It's so critical to keep that line of communication. It just increases customer service. It's better for you and the agent. So there are agents who come up to me sometimes. They go, hey, I love that course. My assistant just loved it. I'm not sure what they do all day, but they're doing great. I'm thinking to myself, how can they not know what you're doing? So don't let that happen, because I'm on your side, and as you guys get to know me, I get what you do. Agents like myself and other agents, we can't do what we do without having a team and having people specialized to absolutely deliver great customer service, organized, detailed paperwork. This is what's called a team. So I get what you do. Now, on this daily schedule, it's important that you fill one out, you post it, show it to your agent so they see what you're doing also. Then as more and more business comes on, then your schedule starts to blow up. This is how you build another job description and another schedule for the next person. So remember, I'm on your side. Okay. All right. So now, next, okay, turn the page. And now we're looking at the time management for Keller Williams Executive Assistant. All right. So I'm going to go through a couple of these, and some of these are not going to be things that you're going to agree to, but then I'm going to just say, it's just suggestions and good luck, all right? So I always say you got to review your schedule the day before, and plan your schedule. I'm going to give you a daily meeting form, which is coming up on number 2. I'm going to jump around here for time's sake. Number 4, bunch all return phone calls at one time. Don't do this helter-skelter. So if you've got some recalls that came to you, just sit down and call them all at once and get it over with. Train your agent not to speak to you on number 5 or interrupt you until 11 o'clock. Now, let's just hold off here. That's a biggie, because a lot of these agents can work on, I want immediate answers, immediate response. However, it is up to you, and I will talk to them also, but you've got to share with them that you can be more efficient, they can be more powerful, and set more appointments if they stay focused also and do their lead generation. So really work on your agent not interrupting you until 11 o'clock. So there was it's the funniest story. So this agent that I know of, and this was in, I believe it was Michigan, and this was a while back, and he could not sit still. And he had his own private office, and he was always wandering around. He'd make 2 calls, go get coffee. Make 2 calls, go to the men's room. Make 2 calls, go up front and talk to the assistant a minute up there at the reception desk. Make 2 calls, go wander down the hall. I mean, the guy just couldn't sit still. True story. So he and the assistant came up with an idea. When he gets to the office, he takes all of his clothes off in his private office, the windows are drawn, sets his clothes outside the door. Now, the assistant locks the door, so that no one can walk in on him, by accident, and takes his clothes and sets them over across the room. So he can't just open up the door and sneak his clothes back on. So, I know, true story. But guess what? He doubled his business in 1 year by prospecting in his shorts and his T-shirt. And what the heck, if that's what it takes, because he couldn't leave the room. He had to sit there and prospect, stand and prospect, whatever he did. It was great. So he doubled his business in 1 year by doing that. So I'm not suggesting that you tell your agent to take their clothes off. I'm just saying you got to come up with some systems. All right. Number 6, schedule your lunch and take it. I'm not going to repeat that anymore. You guys get it or you don't. All right. Okay, number 7. And we're going to talk more about this too. In my office, the affiliates are not allowed to come into our office in the morning. No, you can't do that under any circumstance. Now, in doing that, what I am trying to do and make sure is that we don't have any interruptions. If we call you, you need to respond within 5 minutes. If I email you, you need to respond rather quickly too, within a couple of hours. So you have to set up these kinds of communication. You can't have the affiliates come drop in and sit down and, talk to you and, whatever they're doing. They're just making sure that they've got you, so you get all the business. That's not necessary. We say, look, you got the business? Here are our rules. And so have those conversations, all right? Use color-coded files, so when you need to file something on your desk, have a tiered file to read. So if something you need to read, put it in a red file. Something to do, put it in a green file. Something you got to file, put it in a yellow file. So that you're not multitasking. So when it comes to filing, you go, okay, I've got 15 minutes this afternoon, I'm going to file all this stuff and put it away. Put your personal items in one place. Make pre-list packages, which is coming up in the future, in bunches of 25 or 50. Have an inventory checklist so that once a month you're looking at inventory, not trying, well, let me look in this cabinet. Are we out of staples? No, we're good. How about this? Okay, we're good. No, have a little checklist. And you tape it to the inside door of your inventory if you have an inventory file cabinet or whatever. Tape it in there so that you have it. Then when you have a clock, where you can see it so you can manage your time. This also monitors when you're talking to someone that's a big talker, a time waster, when I call it, a listing or a seller, and they're big chatters. There's techniques that I'm going to teach you that are coming up too, but I'll teach you one right now, is to say, when you got a chatter that you got to call, and maybe it's a buyer agent, maybe it's, seller buyer, you say, oh, John, I'm so glad I caught you. I've got 2 minutes before I walk into a meeting, but I'm so glad I caught you, and I wanted to tell you real quick, is this a good time to go over a couple of things? So always ask for permission. Tell them you have 2 minutes. Tell them I have a couple of minutes, I've got a client walking in. And then when the imaginary client walks in, you go, oh, time to go, my client's here. It's your imaginary client just walked in. All right. Touch paper only once. Real estate assistants are going to die of the disease of piles of paper. And shut your office door. And if you don't have an office door and someone's coming toward you, act like you're talking on the phone. So you should have a headset. You should be number 25, use a headset. If you don't have a headset, get a headset. Demand that your office give you a headset. Now, we have headsets in my office. I'm not sure everybody's using one, but they should. We have them. And so get them. And then somebody walks toward you, start opening your mouth like you're talking, and you just wave them off and say, I can't talk right now, I can't talk right now. Because there will be people in your office that will waste your time. And you want to be friendly, but not too friendly. You got a job to do. Plantronics, Plantronics. That's what we use. They're the best. They last the longest. Get a Plantronics. All right. Okay, so going back now up to top of page 9. Always leave your desk clean at night. The obvious things about that, leaving your desk clean at night, it allows you to walk in the office and feel good. You feel refreshed instead of going, oh, where am I going to start today? If a buyer or seller if you're missing some paperwork, when it makes sense, if you have a local area there, say, do you mind stopping into the office? I'd like to introduce myself. Have them bring the stuff in. Now, some of you, like us, we travel 60 miles in one direction sometimes. Then what we do is then we'll say, gosh, we will make sure that this paperwork gets to you. We'll overnight it to you with an envelope to come back, or we'll send a runner, whatever is appropriate. But in most cases, see if they can come into the office. It's good to put a face with a person you're talking to. All right, and I talked about 21, control your communication. Number 22 is if you haven't seen your agent that afternoon, leave them a voicemail or figure out how they like to communicate. If you want me to send you a voicemail or email at the end of the day, if we don't communicate, do you want me to text you? Find out how they want to be communicated to. And then number 24, if your agent works late at night or on the weekends and destroys the office and you walk in and your desk is a disaster and you're trying to figure out, what's the top priority? What do I do first? What's next? So I always recommend getting a 3-tier file. The top tier means top priority. So we have to teach the agent, and they're trainable, that if it's a top priority, organize it for me. Put it in the top tier. If it's due that day, put it in the middle tier. If it's due sometime, put it in the bottom tier, and then I'll decide when I can get that done. That'll be great. So get a 3-tier file if you have an agent that acts like an orangutan at night, jumping around and pulling out files and leaving messages everywhere. Have them organize that. Number 25, I'm going to mention again, use a headset. Post your schedule, number 27, and learn to interrupt time wasters politely. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've got to go. I've got an appointment to call someone right now. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Let me answer that last question for you. Great. Now, if it's a customer, you've just got to set the expectations, and then if they start talking too much, then you've got to go, gosh, I am so glad you called. I'm so glad we got this handled. Is there anything else? I unfortunately have to step into another meeting. The meeting you have to step into is getting back onto your schedule. All right? So you have to learn to interrupt. Now, the other thing I want you to write down, sidebar, is impossible. So if somebody asks you to do something that's unreasonable, say, I'm sorry, that's impossible to do right now. So let's say hypothetically you're in a big office, and I know the Keller Williams way. I get it. We're all helpful. We want to help everyone. If an agent starts to take advantage of you, that is not your agent that pays your bills and pays your paycheck, and they say, can you help me with this? I can't get online. Or can you help me with the copier? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? You say, I'm so sorry. Can you ask the team leader? It's impossible for me to help you right now. Stay clear of some people who will try to use you as their assistant and not pay for you. Be careful. All right. And then, the key thing is that on number 34, honesty will save you a lot of time. Do the same things at the same time every day, every week. And then number 36, say no. That's impossible. And number 37 is always get to the point. How can I help you? How can I help your day? I'm just stepping into a meeting. How can I help you? And then pay all the bills at the same time of the month. Keep the bills, as we talked about earlier, in the same place. All your accounting stuff, if you're doing that for the agent, in one place. All right, set priorities and do first on 39. Just a reminder. Client files, top priority. Client who calls and needs something. Interrupt what you're doing, deal with it, fix it, or tell them a time you'll get back to them. And then, number 41, when someone comes into your workplace uninvited, stand up and walk them to the door as you answer their questions. So if somebody's coming toward you, and you can say, oh, boy, here we go again. Stand up, meet them at the door, and say, I was just jumping on a call. I saw you coming. How can I help you? Don't let them come and sit down and chat you up. It doesn't work. All right. 43, use whiteboards to monitor priority and tasks. I have a whole bunch of whiteboards that are coming up. You're going to love how you can get organized with whiteboards where agents and buyer agents won't be asking you all the time, what's going on with the file? Did the inspection get cleared? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? They can look at the board and find all the answers. Won't that be great? All right, so you want to call on escrows on 44 and sale and process transactions, your pendings, at the same time every week. Have the loan processor and escrow agents ready for your call by prearranging the time. My suggestion for Tony in our office is that every single Monday he has a time with Here, who's our escrow, the escrow company, and they go through every file and say, okay, this is what we need to focus on this week. We have X amount of escrows with you. Let's go one by one, take 2 minutes on each one. It's so important to set the expectations of what needs to get done on Monday. So on Friday, you have another conversation with Here, cleaning it up, but it should be like 2 o'clock every Friday, 3 o'clock every Friday. Go through the files, and you can go through them quickly saying, okay, we got this done, okay, this has got to be a top priority on Monday to get done because it didn't get done. But that's how you move the business forward. That's how you stay on the timeline. Don't be a perfectionist. 80%, perfection is acceptable. If you over perfectionize things, or that's not a word. If you too much of a perfectionist, things get bogged down and you don't get things done. You get paralyzed. Should you be a perfectionist about your clients? Absolutely. About your files? Absolutely. About some of the ways to get to those things getting completed? Just get it done. Set expectations with sellers and buyers regarding communication. So the biggest thing, and we're going to go through that, is setting up expectations. So when we go through the listing procedures and the seller procedures, you're going to see exactly how to set up the expectations. I have the scripts for you. So number 48, this isn't going to happen for most of you. Check emails twice a day at 8:30 and 4 o'clock. That's not going to happen because you're on your emails all day long. And I understand why you need to, so obviously that one is a little bit goofy. Bunch all errands at one time. So if you do errands and you run errands for the agent in the office or, your team, whatever, that, you say, great, Wednesday's the day I do that. Wednesday's the day I go pick up lock boxes, or Thursday's the day I do this. So it's one time each week, so it makes sense to do that. And schedule a purchase day each month. Don't tell your agent, but just go start throwing stuff out that doesn't make any sense for you to have, because a lot of agents will have piles everywhere. Won't that be great? Stephanie, don't you dare do that for me. All right, schedule clean, sort, catch up early in the morning or late one evening. Now, I'm not asking you to stay later. I'm not asking you to do any of those things, but sometimes it's just after, you've had 3-4 months of huge amounts of business, things get a little chaotic, and sometimes just coming in a little earlier or just saying, okay, after 5 today, I'm going to take an extra half hour and I'm going to clean all this up and get it done. Okay. So, let me take a breath here real quick. Any questions about that with anyone? Now, once again, these pages would be great to use in a team meeting, but it also is great to go under your schedule, your tab under schedule. All right. Questions, please. Okay, you guys are easy today. All right. Okay. So let's talk about time robbers. Oh, God. Number one. Okay, you guys do the work. Who's the biggest waster of your time? Somebody tell me. It's pretty clear who it is. Who interrupts you the most?
Procrastinators.
Okay, well, procrastinators, okay, people who don't do things, okay, but let's be very specific.
Other
Who
agents.
takes up, okay, all right.
Myself.
Okay, good, all right, there's some good answers there, all right. The number one person, in my opinion, that is your biggest time robber because they can't control themselves is your agent. Oh! Because if they behaved, how much extra time would you have every day if they didn't interrupt you, if they didn't forget things, if they didn't lose things, if they stayed lead generating for 2 hours and didn't interrupt you? Would you have a better productive day?
Yes.
Yes! So write down agent, okay, and go ... Communicate with the agent solutions to this. So, for example, no talking between 9 and 11 o'clock. No talking. You can't interrupt me. I can't talk to you. No talking. So you have to communicate what you need from that agent. If they're giving you last-minute things, you've got to say, we've got to have a better plan that you give me things timely. So if I set a listing appointment today and it's for next week, I'm giving it to Stephanie now. Stephanie knows to get it ready when she can for next week. I'm not giving it to her the morning, Tuesday morning. I have an appointment at 11 o'clock. I'm not giving it to her at 10 o'clock and say, I need this in 10 minutes. I'm giving it to her as soon as I know about it. All right. Number 2, someone mentioned this, other agents, especially buyer agents on the one and only deal they have. Right? Buyer agents. These agents are, but you have to set expectations. And so how you communicate in setting expectations. And so when we get into those sections of, contracts and things, I'm going to show you how to control their expectations. They want to know every detail. They don't need to know every detail. But if you have a system where you say to them, I'm going to email you, blind copy you any emails I send out to the client. If there's any challenge, you will be emailed immediately. You do not need to contact me. I will email you once a week the status. Okay, so you're setting expectations. You need to go out and find more business. Number 3, affiliates. I've already told you what I said. They're not allowed in your office in the morning. If they do come in, they're only allowed to stay 5 minutes. You can only stay 5 minutes. Drop off your donuts, drop off your notepads, whatever you need to do, get out of here. Because we need to make more business happen, so you have more business too. So you don't need to worry about us. We love you. We're fine. Whatever. All right? Okay, number 4, files not organized. I'm going to give you a classification file folder. You can look it up on Office Depot, Office Max. They're legal size. They're metal clipped at the top, 2-hole punch. That's the only file to use. We get ours from our affiliates for free. You can buy them from Office Depot, Office Max. You know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to show you how you organize your file so everything is perfect, meticulous, and you can find what you need in seconds. All right, and then number 5, this is the key. If it's not in the schedule, it's not important. So when you go, oh my gosh, I forgot to do that, then you get off track, and then your schedule gets off track, and everything gets, crazy. So if it's not in the schedule, it's not important. So you must have a schedule with the important things in your schedule, and look at that schedule every day. So you have to know what your schedule is every day. All right. So, for example, schedule these weekly activities. Call lenders on pending for updates. Call title closing company for weekly updates on pending files. Tuesdays, call all listings. That means the sellers. Call all pending. Prepare all Friday reports. And we're going to talk about those. And Friday reports are, for example, like a 411 and things that you did that week. So what are 5 things you accomplished this week? What's the week high, the week low? And then Friday 3 to 4,
The
work
weather
on
was
policies, procedures,
amazing,
manual.
and
Or maybe Friday is work on finances. Maybe it's the budget stuff. Maybe it's paying bills. So you have to schedule those weekly activities. All right, before I go on to the next part, questions, please. Okay, all right. So we talked a lot about communication in the previous calls. And so just to be clear, when you have a list of activities, and, Charlie on my team was a master of having this. So every single day he had this on a clipboard. And on his clipboard, he used this. He did this class like 8-9 years ago, and then he took this and used it every day. Yesterday I did, and he wrote down the 4 or 5 things that he accomplished yesterday in case I needed to say what went on yesterday, what I need to know. Today I must do questions and problems. Now, he has one that he fills out the night before.
Okay.
That he fills out the night before, and then by 2 or 3 o'clock that afternoon, today I must do, if he only got 3 or 4 things done because the world blew up and A, B, and C had to be done instead, then he's now moving that over to the next form. Now, he would keep track of them for quite a while. He'd probably have a stack of for the whole month to go back and reference. And then at the end of the month, he'd throw it away. Now, some of you are going, oh, that's paper and killing a tree. Yes, that's right. I like paper. And some of you are paperless. Gosh, that's great. Good for you. We're not. And so I like to be able to touch it, feel it, see it. I like to see Charlie's, clipboard, and I can see what he's working on. So this is accountability for you. It's ways that you don't forget something that's important to do. It's ways that things get done. And then looking at the next one, which is on page 13, it's a daily to-do and daily to-do and daily meeting. Today's to-do list, today I accomplished, tomorrow I need to. These are all great. You can change it around any way you want. The fact that you have something that you're going to finish at the end of the day, put it in your chair, put it on a clipboard, you walk in the morning, you know exactly what you have to check off. I know most of you great analyticals on this call, the high C's, you love checking things off. And especially top priorities and meeting with your agent and writing down the things that they want you to do that day and talking to them at 11 o'clock, say, here's what I'm going to work on, here's my to-do list, here's what I'm going to work on tomorrow, these are my problems and questions, and then the agent says, okay, add this, add this, add this. Now you have a place to put it. So just a thought, just a thought. Now, my personal opinion is you go print these off in a color. Don't use it in white because white gets lost in the file if you don't have it clipped to a clipboard, and you're going to lose it, and you're going to go, oh, I don't know what I've done with that. It's in a file somewhere. If you have it a bright yellow, pink, purple, green, yellow, whatever, you're not going to lose them, okay? All right, gang. Okay, so with that said, just kind of tying everything up, this call is absolutely about having great customer service and having it in the schedule so it's done correctly. This call is also about making your life easier and more efficient. If it's not in the schedule, it's not important. There are certain things that you should do at certain times of the day. Top priorities. Understanding that when a client calls and needs something, deal with it. Make them feel like they're the only client you have. Acknowledge them. Great, thank you for calling me. Absolutely, I appreciate you letting me know that. I will take care of it immediately, and I'll get back to you by 2 o'clock and let you know that's done. Confirm what they want, and then call them, email them, however you're going to communicate with them back on that and say it's done. I really think that when you look at this information today, your life will become a little bit more organized, a little bit easier if you fill out a schedule. All right, so with that said, let me open it up. Okay, so what did you learn today? What's your number one idea? Number one idea.
This is Mona from Glendora.
Good. Mona from Glendora, it's your coaching call today. Atta girl. What did you like today? What's number one?
That I need to modify my schedule a little more.
In what regard?
That I'm not going to be able to do the finances at the end of the day every day. I'm going to have to move it towards the end of the week.
Okay, all right, so great. Here's your tip for Mona. Put the top priorities early in the morning, because then you have a chance to get it done. And finances are a top priority, aren't they?
Well, I think that the stuff that's going to bring in income is more of a priority, but this is...
Well, it is, but it's right up there because you got to know how to manage the money and check the cash flow and pay the bills, or the whole ship will go down, right?
Yes.
So it's right up there. Yes, bringing in, lead prospecting, bringing in money. Yes, absolutely. Taking care of customers, absolutely. But finances. But again, what you're saying is that if it's a top priority, it has to be done early in the day, not at the end of the day, because it'll never get done.
Exactly.
Great. Thanks, Mona. Appreciate it from Glendora. Who's got number two idea, please?
Hi, this is Erica from Houston with Keller Williams Signature.
Oh, good. Erica in Houston. Is it hot and humid in Houston?
It It is. Luckily, we got a little bit of rain today.
Okay, good. You guys need rain. Good. What'd you like today?
I just wanted to say thank you for giving us a few ideas on how to respond when we do have time wasters, like if someone comes from the office or there's a phone call that's going a little too long or any of those situations.
Okay, good. That's a great tip. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So number 2 is write down, that's impossible, slash, I'm just stepping into a meeting. You have 2 minutes. So when somebody wants you to do something, say, gosh, I'm sorry, that's impossible. I can't do it right now. Or, slash, when you're calling somebody or you need to interrupt and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I've got to step into a meeting. You know, what's your last question for me? Interrupt them and be polite about, oh, I'm so sorry, I got to interrupt you. I've got to get into a meeting in 2 minutes. Interrupt them. All right, atta girl. Thank you from Houston. All right, who's got number 3, please, idea? What'd you learn today? What'd you hear that you go, wow, that's going to help?
This is Stacy from San Antonio.
Oh, hi, Stacy. Texas always talks. You guys just can't help yourself. I love that. All right, Stacy from San Antonio. What'd you like today?
I think the most important thing that I learned today was I think waiting to talk to the agent until 11 o'clock is going to be so important, not just for me, but to get my agent on the phone, because that is like his arch enemy.
Exactly, exactly. And so to be a great executive assistant, you get off this call today and you say, I have a great idea. Monica's really clear that we should not have any communication between 9 and 11. And so, with that said, let me tell you how you do it. You say, send me an email before 9 o'clock or leave me a voicemail at night when you think of something. I'll hear it and I'll deal with it. Don't send me any emails between 9 and 11 because you need to be lead generating. So if you send it before 9 o'clock, I can help you, or I'll deal with it at some point, or leave me a voicemail at night. So that's how you teach them, all right? Thank you, Miss San Antonio. Great idea for everybody. All right, one more idea. One more.
Hi, Monica. This is Sarah in Orlando.
Yay, Sarah.
Hi. I feel like part of today's session tied in a little bit with last week's in protecting the agent's schedule in the morning for them to focus on lead generation.
Yeah.
And my agent and I started doing that after last week's call and have kind of implemented, we don't communicate before 11 unless it's an absolute emergency or something's on fire.
Good. I like that.
To protect both her morning schedule to lead gen and then also my morning schedule so I can focus on returning calls or emails or, you know, things like that. And then we also tied in, it's been a couple of sessions ago when you suggested a notebook, and every time the agent wants something done, write it down on a sheet of paper and write done. So
yes.
I don't see my agent very much during the day to be able to give her sheets of paper, so I got a notebook and make myself a list every time she calls, and then I send her an email at 5 o'clock every day with each item that she asks me to do, and either done out to the side of it or an explanation of if I had to leave somebody a message or, you know, whatever
She's gotta love that. Does she love that?
She's been doing that for about a week now, and it works really well. She feels like in the evenings she's not having to bother me to ask me if I got something done because I've already sent her that.
Oh, that's so great. No, that is so great.
How about the escrow?
Hey, that is so great. I'm glad you're, using this, and unfortunately, you're the exception. A lot of people haven't put anything into place yet because their calls are just overwhelming sometimes. So, if anything, get a notebook and write down, right?
I highly recommend it. It works very well.
It does, and even if you're just going to send, they don't come back to the office very often, then just send them an email that says done, done, done. Stephanie in my office sends me, when I send her something, then it comes back, they'll say done on it, so that I can figure